Every 10-year capper knows if you get a +7 or greater at home in the NFL, you grab it every time. Hey everyone, it's Phi Farley, and it's week 9 in the NFL, coming off a 3-0 sweep last weekend. Had some great picks, also threw one out for the Thursday night game with the under, winning that one. Sorry about that video coming out late. No one could have capitalized on it, unfortunately. But it's been a good last couple weeks. Been hammering the books, which has been fantastic. It's good to get it back. They had a article come out for the on ESPN about more money was made in Las Vegas in September than has ever been recorded. And the reason for that is because more money was put through Vegas in any month in September than any month has ever been recorded. So the percentage was identical to what is normally, which is basically the juice. And there was just more bets placed in the month of September. I was one of those, and now I'm happy to be getting some of that back. So I think the number was something like 54 million, something like that. Anyway, so I have 4 games today that I'm going to be going with. We have 2 +7 underdogs at home, which is really interesting. Sometimes you'll wait all season and get a handful. We got 2 in one weekend. Neither one of my picks are going to be that game. I got to be honest. If I could pick one of those games, I think both of them are an option to take. You got the Bears at the Bills. Bills defense can step up and play well. They're going to be starting Nathan Peterman though. Bears on the road. Not sure what you're going to get there out of the Bears offense. They went on the road to Miami, lost in overtime. You just don't always know what you're going to get there. Same with the Bills as far as what you're going to get as a product, but you do know what you're going to get out of Nathan Peterman, and that's at least 2 touchdowns for the other team. Now, the other one is going to be the Cleveland Browns at home going against the Kansas City Chiefs. And what's interesting about this is every time I tell people, hey, you got to take the home team when they're a +7 or more. Here we're getting +8 for the Cleveland Browns. They say, well, yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you got to do it. It's the NFL. There's all kinds of, balancing of the points and turnovers. You just never know. Oh, but the Browns? No, I can't take the Browns. No, I thought you were going to give me the Packers at home. I thought you were going to give me the Dolphins at home. No, but not the Browns. Yes. The Browns, the Bills. Yeah, those are the teams that you get at a +7 dog at home. And you get them against teams like the Chiefs and the Bears. So what's funny is that still statistically has worked out. Now, here's a reason why I'm not taking them in this situation. Basically because I'm trying to put winners out there. And with the points going up, it's starting to get a little bit greater of a spread in these games, much more like college than we do, not completely like college. It's not that bad, but a little bit more points scored means that we have a greater differential between the two teams at the end of the day. So when we have a Chiefs-Browns matchup with a total at 52, whereas years past, it may have been 42, I'm a little more hesitant to take the Browns at home. Will I be taking the Chiefs? Absolutely not. It's Browns or bust. Will I be taking the Bills? No, but I'm definitely not taking the Bears either. So that's just food for thought. The only team that I will go with that will cover in those situations, that has a tendency to cover those big numbers, is the Patriots. Patriots, Bill Belichick he's found a way to cover those big lines on the road because they're so consistent on the road versus the home team. Most other teams are not that way. Patriots are an anomaly with Brady and Belichick. So that's just what you get there. All right, let's get into my plays. Coming off 3-0 weekend, coming off that Thursday pick. Now we're looking to this weekend, 4 plays, 2 totals, 2 sides. Let's get to it. So first game I have is going to be in Seattle. Seahawks facing the Chargers. This one opened up as 2.5-point favorites of the Seahawks. Has moved towards the Chargers. Bigger money coming in on the Chargers, and tickets are basically split 53% to 47% in favor of the Chargers, but 59% of the money is over on the Chargers, and we're seeing that affect the line, moving it down to a pick'em. Total set at 47 right now, opened at 48, down to 47. I think this is going to be a back and forth game. Chargers won 4 straight. Also keep in mind, the Chargers ended last season winning 9 straight games. They are a very good team. They opened the season as a preseason ranked around 4 or 5, depends on where you looked. Then they lose to the Chiefs, and they lose to Chiefs and Rams. They lose to the Chiefs and the Rams, and they get knocked back to like 14th, 15th in the rankings. They've won every single game since then. Okay, they are exactly who they thought they were. We just didn't know the Chiefs were going to be that good. We didn't know the Rams were good. We kind of knew the Rams were going to be that good. But, losing those 2 games now are actually pretty respectable. Now they've gone on to rattle off 4 straight wins, and they're looking a lot more like the Chargers we thought they would be as a 4 or 5 ranked NFL team. And pretty soon they'll end up climbing their way back into that top 5 ranking, which doesn't mean a whole lot. What matters is what seed they're going to get going into the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, yes, they have been rallying. They've been running the football quite well. Unfortunately, they have played very, very inferior opponents. You saw what the Lions did offloading Golden Tate, and I'm going to get that more in one second. But, they just played a Lions team that was really depleted. I'm really pleased with how the Seahawks are playing. I'm a Seahawks fan, but they haven't played really good teams. They just haven't. And when they have, they've lost. So they lost to the Bears, they lost to the Broncos, they lost to the Rams. All winning teams, 0-3 against them. Now they're here at home where they have 1 loss. It was to the Rams, and it's a pick'em here with the Chargers. I'm concerned about the deep threat with the Chargers and Phillip Rivers throwing it long. Seattle's had some injuries. Of course, they're with Earl Thomas, but also McDougal's been banged up. I do trust their corners, but not really the safety at this point. And the Chargers have a lot of deep threats. They can go to Allen. They can go to Williams. They have a lot of options, not to mention Melvin Gordon pounding the football. And there's 2 guys that are going to be on the line that are former Seahawks players that are now captains for the Chargers, Mebane, as well as Russell Okung on the offensive line. So, all that said, Chargers are a better team than what Seattle's been facing, and I just don't like how this pencils for Seattle at home. I hope they get this win, but I just don't think they will. I think there's value actually at a pick'em for the Chargers up in Seattle. These teams are what we thought they were at the beginning of the year to now. We've definitely thought the Chargers were a better team. Don't let Seattle fool you by, beating up on these inferior opponents that they're somehow now much better. They got Russell Wilson. They got some good cutting receivers with great hands and solid tacklers on defense. Still working the offensive line, still working the defensive line, still working the corners, now replacing a Sherman and Chancellor, and the other corners and Legion of Boom that they used to have. So they're fair, they're good, they're ramping up, but they're not at the Chargers level at this point. Give me the Chargers at a pick'em. All right, second game I have is going to be, let's go to the Monday Night Football game. All right, I always like isolated games, looking at the underdogs and the unders. Mainly because you can get a few more points, because line makers know you can add some points because the public is going to throw a ton of money on the favorite and the overs. Here we have the Titans and Cowboys. No matter how you slice this total, they always fall under. So if we looked at offensive production on both of these teams, their points per game that they both average, it puts the total combining Tennessee's 15 points per game as well as Dallas's 20 points per game. That's 35. If you look at their defense, how many points per game they give up, Dallas is at a 17, whereas Tennessee is number 2 and number 3 is at 18. 35 points per game total between these two teams. So, no matter how this goes, this happened before, and it was Dallas against Jacksonville. If Jacksonville didn't have so many turnovers, it ended up being, 40-7, and the total was set at 42, I believe, and it went over. And that had everything to do with Jacksonville's turnovers. allowing Dallas to score on short field position. Other than that, it went exactly as we thought it would, and it would have went under all day. We have the same thing coming here. Total opened up at 42. It's been bet down to 40.5. Was very tempted to take the Titans side. I don't like the way the line has moved on this one. I think it will come back towards the Titans. I do like the Titans side, but I'm going to go with the under in this one. Titans, Cowboys, Monday Night Football, under the 40.5. All right, last game I have for you. Actually, two more. Vikings at home. So I really like this spot for the Vikings. The Vikings are a great team, okay? I called this pick last week. One of my picks that I won was taking the Saints, getting revenge up in Minnesota. Minnesota gets embarrassed on the Sunday night game. Now they stay home. They have all week to practice, get healthy, and they have another home game going against the depleted Lions. The Lions just sold off Golden Tate, and I hate to say it, but the majority of their offense went through Golden Tate. They didn't have much else to go to when they played Seattle other than Tate. He was there. It was Stafford's crutch was to go to him. Kerryon Johnson did well. I was impressed by him, but really a lot of their offense went through Tate. So now without him, I just don't think against a superior team looking to bounce back, save some face, I just don't. 5.5 is way too little for the Vikings here. I think it's a 10-point win pretty easily. Give me the Vikings. And they're not a run the score up type of team. They're a control the clock and run it out. So, I'm taking the Vikings here, but I still think it's going to be an easy win. And look for Adam Thielen to break 1,000 yards on the season already in this game. So Vikings minus 5.5 is my third pick. Last pick of the day is going to be Buccaneers, Panthers going over the total. There is a lot to like about this total at 55 and for these two teams to go over that. I think the Panthers against the Buccaneers, which is the last placed defense against the pass, allowing over 400 yards per game. I believe it was team defense for Tampa Bay, 415 yards per game, the most in the NFL. Also, the most points per game at 33.3 points per game given up. I'm looking for Cam Newton to just absolutely throttle the Tampa Bay defense. What's funny is with Fitzpatrick back for Tampa Bay, Fitzpatrick can move the football. I think he's actually going to put up 21. As I was capping this, I was looking at a score, what I was expecting. I'm thinking it'll be about 38-28. The Bucks or the Panthers could put up even more than that. It could be 42. They may reach the 40s. Either way, I think the 55 is going to be a total that they can go over pretty easily. So I'm going to take Bucks Panthers over 55 as my fourth and final pick. So there you go. Chargers at a pick'em. Bucks Panthers over. Vikings minus the 5.5. Titans Cowboys Monday Night Football going under 40.5. All right, there you go. There's my picks. There's my plays. Good luck, everyone, this weekend. I'll see you again soon.